U.S. Airways Flight 5481. The commuter jet plunged and burned 37 seconds after taking off from Charlotte yesterday, killing all 21 people on board. Investigators say the plane's elevator was moving around like crazy before the crash. The elevator determines how steep the takeoff is, and this one was abnormally steep.
7 degrees is the normal takeoff pitch angle. Something occurred to drive that pitch angle to 52 degrees. That is abnormal.
Investigators say part of the elevator was just replaced on Monday. They're checking to make sure it was done properly. Heavy fog is the likely cause. Just a few miles from the airport, 75 are now known dead. The plane torn to bits, leaving an 800-yard path of twisted metal. 6 survived that crash, but a 2-year-old child pulled from the wreckage died this morning. Families of victims now burying their loved ones, others still trying to identify their relatives' remains. There's another investigation today. Peru's Air Force now looking for a plane that disappeared while flying over the Amazon jungle. The plane, like this one, carrying 42 passengers and 4 crew members. The airline losing contact with that jet just 3 minutes from its scheduled landing at a mountain airport 400 miles north of Lima. That airline saying they still haven't established visual or radio contact. It said flying conditions were good at the time, but that weather can change quickly in the jungle. President Bush's assembly controlling the plane's lift was moving erratically during the 37 seconds the doomed flight was in the air. The unusual up and down motion began, they say, after the plane underwent routine maintenance on Monday night and showed up during all 7 flights before Wednesday's crash. Researchers still fighting the war on HIV and AIDS, but making progress. The question is, are scientific gains causing people...
Flight 5481 had repairs on the tail of the aircraft on Monday. Despite the repair work, the plane continued to show problems for the next 7 flights. Its 8th flight yesterday was the fatal one. Later in this hour, we will bring you more news on this crash and get answers from a former member of the NTSB. But first, Modesto...
Imagine any firefighter said, I'm not running into that mess for what I make every year. And how about the people down at the morgue?
The area of the Turkish border with Iraq has a large Kurdish population. Once again, we're on top of the story. Our business Timbul will bring you as much information as possible. Once again, 5 survivors known at this time. That's the latest. Now back to Talk Back Live and Arthel Neville.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're talking with the radio talk show host and author Michael Savage and Talkback contributor Charles Barkley. All right, Michael, let's talk about your book a little bit more. Another excerpt from the book. If America is going to survive, we must close our borders to those who come to mooch and to those from all terror-sponsoring countries. Haven't we learned our lesson from 9/11? I say we must defend our borders from those who come to exploit our nation, or we're cooked. Want to expound on that for me, sir?
Well, I think it's self-evident that a nation is defined primarily by its borders. Without borders, where's the nation? That's number one. When you have a house, your house is defined by your property line. A nation is defined by its property line. Either you defend it or you let burglars in. We have 15 to 20 million illegal aliens in this country. Yes, I know many immigrants are hardworking, but how do you explain that 30% of all of our prisoners are here illegally? They didn't come here to work. They came here to work the system. We need to do what people are doing in Europe. Even liberal Europe is closing its borders and seeing who's coming in and who's not coming in. Who do you want in your country? Do you want anybody? Do you want everybody? You want a selective few? Can we afford to take in tens of millions of people when we have poor people of our own? These are questions that aren't being discussed.
I think there is some truth in that. I think we have to hold people accountable. I think as far as immigration, that's always going to be a very difficult situation because, number one, discrimination is always going to exist. There are a lot